Hey y'all, Disney World is different right now, and there are some new things you need to prepare for. Along with some age-old Disney slip-ups you need to remember to stay aware of. We've got the tips to help coming up. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. Okay, you can't park hop. It's still super hard to ride Rise of the Resistance, and park hours are weird. Today we're going to get you ready to go to Disney by going through 8 things you need to be prepared for. Even if crowds are lower, Disney's still a little complicated, so let's get to those tips. Number 1, resort hopping and park hopping are not really a thing right now. With limited capacities in the parks, Disney's using a park pass reservation system to help gauge and limit how many people are in each park each day. And you know what would really mess up their counts? If people are visiting multiple parks each day. Park hopping is not happening right now. You can only select one park to visit each day of your trip, and you need to make that reservation in advance. So, no more breakfast in Magic Kingdom and World Showcase in the afternoon. Since it's so easy to get between parks in Disney World, people are used to hopping between them, maybe even going to a park just for dinner and some fireworks, which fireworks aren't happening right now either. Guests are left with a much more structured trip. You need to decide what day is Hollywood Studios Day, and that's the only park you're going to. Typically like only spending the first part of your day in Animal Kingdom. Well, that's all you'll be doing all day, though the park does close at 6, so it isn't really a full day like it used to be. Now, also visiting other resorts at Disney World is a great resort day activity, and visiting the lobbies and lounges of those other hotels is a whole lot of fun. You just won't be doing it that much right now. Yeah, you can't just visit a resort to stop by the lounge for a drink or snack or just to check the place out. You need to have an advanced dining reservation at the resort or you'll likely be turned away. Sometimes this is not the case in practice, but it's Disney's official policy right now. So if you want to visit a hotel you're not staying at, pair that trip with a dining reservation and you're okay to head over there. Also remember that if you really want to cram in more activities each day, you can still visit Disney Springs after the parks close. It's closing a bit earlier than we're used to, about 10 p.m., but you can still go for dinner and some shopping after that short Animal Kingdom day. Okay, next thing you gotta prepare for. Park opening times are staggered. Now this can take you by surprise if you aren't aware. Some parks are opening close to normal times, others are opening much later than we're used to, and they're all staggered, so one park opens each hour. Animal Kingdom opens at 8, Magic Kingdom at 9, Hollywood Studios at 10, and Epcot at 11. And their closing times are staggered as well, with each park being open for 10 hours. Presumably this is to help balance out transportation needs, so there's not multiple parks opening and closing at the same time. They can direct more buses to the one about to open or the one that just closed. This also means that some days you'll get to sleep in or relax in the morning because you just can't get to the park that early. This kind of forced relaxation time is almost nice when we're used to the go of rope drop, especially at Hollywood Studios, where everyone's trying to get there super early to get a shot at grabbing a boarding pass for Rise of the Resistance. Okay, next thing you need to be prepared for in Disney World, not enjoying yourself. Things will go wrong. Your plans will very likely need to change, and you'll be hot and tired from walking close to 10 miles every day, if not more. So you might wake up one morning on your trip after too few hours of sleep and think, why on earth did we come to Disney? It can happen. You might just get completely sick of your family while you're at Disney too. That also can happen. We see temper tantrums, icy stares between loved ones, and all-out battles over the silliest things when we're wandering the parks. That could be you one day. It's definitely been us. We know you love your family, but love can be a complicated thing, and having your kids interrupt your work video calls for the past 5 months may have put you a little on edge. So pace yourself and remember to relax. Give everyone some downtime and some alone time. Another difficult thing right now is that in the pandemic, the parks are a little more stressful than they've ever been before. So if it's your vacation, you should definitely enjoy it. But don't beat yourself up if you're not enjoying every single second of your week in Disney World. Next thing you gotta be prepared for, the new Rise of the Resistance boarding pass situation. Rise of the Resistance, the most popular ride in Disney World and the worst ride to try to get on. Disney is still using a virtual queue boarding pass situation for Rise of the Resistance, but now you don't have to show up before the parks open to try and ride. Sort of. Prior to the park closings, the boarding group distribution was done once, right at park opening, and you and everyone riding needed to be in the park and have the My Disney Experience app pulled up in order to get in the virtual queue. When Hollywood Studios first reopened, passes were available 3 times throughout the day, but things have changed yet again. Now you can try to get a boarding pass at 10 a.m. or 2 p.m. They're still going very quickly even with reduced capacity in the parks because the ride also has reduced capacity. If your only goal in Hollywood Studios is to ride Rise of the Resistance, we recommend showing up at 10 a.m. so you get 2 chances to grab a boarding pass. If you don't really care to ride it, you can wait a bit to arrive at the park and try your luck at 2 p.m. The other change to boarding groups now, you only have 1 hour to return to the ride. Previously, you had 2 hours to return. So if you're at a dining reservation and you're going to miss your window, just take a screenshot of your boarding pass and talk to a cast member outside the ride. They should be able to help you out, but do try to get there on time if you can. Next thing to be prepared for in Disney World, you better learn how to mobile order. We've been repping mobile ordering since it first came to Disney World. It's super convenient. You can check out the menu before you get to the restaurant, place your order, and pay all within the My Disney Experience app, and skip the long line of people waiting to order, and head straight to the counter to grab your food. Now, you're pretty much locked into using mobile order at this point, whether you're a fan of the system or not. Quick service locations around Disney World are strongly recommending that guests place a mobile order for their food, and recommending their food be ready for pickup before they even enter the restaurant. So no more just sitting inside Pecos Bill for some AC. You kind of need to have ordered lunch, or you're gonna order lunch. Tables are limited and they're reserved for those eating at the restaurant. So if you just want to sit, head to one of the relaxation stations in the park. Now, the only real exception to this is if you're paying with cash or you have an allergy and need to speak with a cast member. For those 2 scenarios, you can talk with a cast member outside the restaurant and they will direct you where to go. If you aren't under those 2 scenarios, cast members can help walk you through how to mobile order, but that is definitely the preferred method of ordering food right now. And you may get some flack if you're just trying to order at the podium for the sake of ordering at the podium. Note, you can still get a cup of ice water. Again, just check with the cast members outside and they'll let you know right where to go. All right, next thing you need to be prepared for in Disney World, a ride breaking down. We've talked about this one before in the times of Fast Pass, which is currently not happening at Disney World. All rides only have standby queues besides Rise of the Resistance, which is a virtual queue, like we said. Now, back in the day, if a ride went down and you had a Fast Pass for it, you'd receive a bonus multi-experience pass, which let you come back to that attraction later in the day or ride something else using the Fast Pass line. But what do you do now if a ride goes down? Well, we recommend hitting the things you absolutely cannot miss earlier in the day, so that if they do break down, you still have time to ride them. If you wait until the very end of the day to ride Space Mountain, there's a chance it doesn't reopen and you totally missed out. But basically, you don't need to worry about Fast Pass right now, so just come back later if something is down. Now, say Rise of the Resistance breaks down during your 1-hour return window. If you haven't gotten in line, you'll be able to hop in line once it reopens. You can ask a cast member for more details about how long you might have to return. Things tend to be more on a case-by-case basis right now, though, in Disney, so you never really know. We've seen some people in line at Rise for 3.5 hours. If you're in line when it breaks down, you could be hanging out for a while in an enclosed space with strangers, which is not really ideal right now. So you should be able to talk to a cast member and see about leaving the line and coming back at a later time when the ride is back up and running. We can't say with 100% certainty that this request will be granted, so don't just walk out of the line without speaking to someone first. The cast members are there to help, and if you don't feel safe in a certain situation, be your own advocate and speak with someone about what can be done. Next thing to be prepared for in Disney World, there's no Epcot Monorail right now. Transportation is running a little less frequently, with fewer guests and fewer hotels open, but the most glaring difference is that the Epcot Monorail isn't running at all. That means if you're coming from Magic Kingdom or the Magic Kingdom resorts, you're going to have to take a bus to get there, which is very different than normal and can take a lot longer. We'd suggest planning some extra travel time no matter where you're going in Disney World right now, as the transportation that is running has seriously reduced capacity. The Magic Kingdom monorail is running, though it's not starting quite as early as we're used to. And if you're at one of the resorts, several trains that are already full may just drive past before you're able to board. Next thing to be prepped for in Disney World, planning is a thankless job. Disney takes a lot of planning, and if you're just tagging along for the ride, you are probably blissfully unaware of that. Lots of restaurants and experiences aren't open, and while some lines are short, others are staying rather long, like Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. And if you didn't get that boarding pass for Rise, it ain't happening. So when Aunt Susan demands that you switch dinner tonight to Cinderella's Royal Table instead of Beaches and Cream, or that she wants to ride Rise of the Resistance again later today, take a deep breath and just tell her no can do. So there are 8 things you really need to be prepared for if you go to Disney World and when you're in Disney World right now. There are so many changes going on. We've got lots of videos about what it looks like, what it feels like, and what's going on out there. Also some videos about our best tips for wearing masks in Disney World too, so do check that out. Thanks for listening, you guys, and thanks for watching. This is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.